Yo, what up, everybody? Hey, welcome back to another awesome Real Estate Uncensored. We got a special edition today. We don't have one guest. We don't have two guests. We have three guests are on the show. We have Ryan and Monica Shea out of Denver, Colorado. Well, not Denver. Sorry, out of Colorado, but more Colorado, more like the Springs, right?
Colorado Springs.
Phenomenal husband and wife team, and they've created something that's so unique, so interesting, that we're going to talk about what they're doing, with a new program that they built, and how they're building emotional connections with their clients. And even Monica was talking about, well, she'll tell the story in a little bit about how she changed a tweak in her listing presentation just from learning kind of some of these principles. But first and foremost, we have the evil bald ninja, Mr. Gene Volpe. I don't like to promote myself, is on the show. How are you, buddy?
First and foremost is right, but I take offense to the fact that I'm a guest. Okay, I'm not a guest.
Yeah, you're kind of past a guest, right? Yeah, you're definitely past a guest. You're definitely like you're our third co-host, so 100%.
Listen, you treat me off air like I'm past the guest. So on air, I'd like to be treated the same way, or maybe I wouldn't want to be treated the same way. I don't know. Greg, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this show. And the thing I really look forward to the most of you guys don't know and don't care about this, but I coached Ryan for a year and a half, and I tried to get this man on video. And I finally done it. He is on video.
He's wily.
He is. And so, Monica, let's introduce you. This is kind of your brainchild. So, Monica and Ryan, welcome to the show. Guys, tell me a little bit about kind of who you are, where you're from, what you've been doing, and how this came to fruition. Monica.
Well, we're in Colorado Springs, about an hour south of Denver. We're a small team, so it's Ryan and I and our assistant. We're at the Platinum Group Realtors, so we're an independent brokerage. We love what we do. Ryan can talk about his background a little bit. Not real estate, not business or corporate.
Yeah, Ryan, you did something much different than real estate before you got into it. So what did you do prior to real estate?
Well, I was in healthcare, so I was I went to school for sports science, wellness program management, and then ended up in cardiac rehab. So I used to do cardiac rehab as a therapist, and then after that, I worked in the ER for a while as an EMT, and then I got my RN. So I've been basically a cardiac nurse, and all different cardiac stuff, cath lab, ICU, up until 5 years ago, which is crazy to say, but. Yeah, I haven't stepped in the hallowed halls of a hospital in about 5 years, and met Monica like 6.5 years ago. She was doing her thing in real estate and whatnot, and then I was kind of helping her. I was kind of phasing out nursing just because it became less about the patient and more about the hospital and productivity and all that, and computers and charting and all that. And I love the bedside. I love just being about the patients. It kind of took me out of it, so I was phasing out nursing, and I was just kind of helping her on the side, and I was just weird how it kind of phased out, and ended up getting my license, and now we work together. So it's been a great system great team.
Good.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing that we're going to talk about today, and it's talking about how to do customer service the Disney way, how to uniquely change the way that you're perceived by the clients, and how to connect those emotional connections with them. Gene, you attended their first event, and guys, this is going to be a little bit of a different show. Gene was on ground, so he's going to have more of a real world knowledge. So Gene, I want you to kind of take it away for a little bit here and just kind of let's get into this. Let's figure out, why this is such an important thing that every real estate agent really needs to wrap their head around, and why Disney is so powerful when it comes to all of us knowing who they are. We all know what they're about, and how that can impact our business. So, Gene, let it roll from here.
Yeah. So before I get into that, I just want to say something. I've known Monica and Ryan for about a year now, and one of them is one of my favorite people on the planet. The other one is a New England Patriots fan. I'll let you guess. I'll let you guess which is which. Of course, Ryan, you know that I'm kidding. You and I think, had a little bit of fun down there in Epcot Center, right? That was one of my favorite times down there.
President kick us out, but yeah, we did, kids. Hey, we couldn't find any security guys, so
we couldn't find any security guys. We should actually get into that at some point because there were some there were some aha moments there. But first, Monica came to me in, I guess it was January, right? And when you had the idea, is that about what it was?
January is when we launched Agent of Excellence publicly. Agent of Excellence is the group that sponsors the training at Disney for real estate. We're a real estate group to help our agents really excel in what they do. And we want to raise the standard of service in the real estate industry. There are a lot of negative stereotypes out there about what realtors are and what real estate pros do and should be doing. Definitely could be doing a lot more. So that's kind of what Agent of Excellence is about. Agent of Excellence sponsors this conference in Disney World that they're talking about. It's a 3.5-day conference with Disney, at Disney, behind the scenes at Disney, to see what exactly they do to engage their guests, their customers, so that they happily hand over their money to Disney and say, please let me be a customer.
So I want to stop you real quick right there, because just going back, so like to finish the thought process, the first thing was when you came to me and said that you had this idea. A lot of people come to me with ideas, and 98% of them I'm like, that could work. But when you told me about this teaming up and working with and all this other stuff and bringing in the Disney Institute, I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, I just knew because of how fanatical Disney fans are, right?
We're nuts.
When you bring it to the real, you're nuts. You are. I'm a Disney fan. Like, let's be straight. I've been there, I don't know, 8 or 9 times with the kids, without the kids, me and my wife when we were younger. I was there as a kid with my family. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But I don't need to be a Disney Vacation Club owner. I'm not, if I go every 4 years, I'm okay with it. I think it's great. But I was really looking forward to this, and I'm just going to tell you, as a 4-year-old mentally, the first thing I was excited about was you said underground, right? So can we talk a little bit about what that looks like first to get people engaged, and then I want to get into some of the aspects of the training that we can apply to the real estate world.
Yeah. So you mean like in the conference, what we do? We really do go behind the scenes for 3 days with Disney Institute to learn what their systems are so that they consistently deliver exceptional service to their clients. And what other business should be doing that, providing consistent, exceptional service than real estate? Because we sell ourselves. You can be the best agent in the world in terms of like writing contracts and knowing title objections and whatever. But if you can't engage a client, you might get them to the closing table, but they'll never be back, and no one's going to have fun doing it.
You know what? I want to
engage them.
Break down a little bit in regards to a story you told off air right before we came on here about something you did, like a small little tweak you did in your last leasing presentation, and we never heard how it went. But I want to tell us what you did and how just menial it is. But what was the impact that on the parents when you did this?
Yeah, so like when you go for the Disney people out there, when you go to Disney, you see that they engage every customer, every guest that they have. And even little kids, if a cast member comes up to a family, they'll get down at kid level. There are things written all around the parks kind of at kid eye level, so that whether you're the grown-up paying for it or the kid experiencing it, everyone's engaged in the family. And I thought, like, we should be doing that. So yeah, I was at a listing appointment, and the two little girls were running around, and they happened to be a Disney family, which is funny because I walked in and they had Frozen playing, and they had like Disney ornaments on their Christmas tree that was up. So I was like, you guys are my people for sure. But I got down and talked to the kids. Like, I bent down, and little kids always want to show you everything in the house. So they were trying to bring everything over. We actually have a kid contract that we use for our sellers that have small children, and it's kind of inspired by Disney, and it says that we know moving is a big deal for everyone in the family, and we want to make sure we're there for everyone. I can't remember what it says. It's something more clever than that. And then on the other side, it says that if the kids agree to like keep their rooms clean and help mom and dad with showings, that sort of thing, and they sign it, that we will give them a $25 Disney gift card at closing. So we try to engage the everyone in the family. I know as a mom, when someone is sweet to one of my kids, like I totally eat it up. And that's a little bit of the idea behind it. Like we want the parents to know that we really do care about everyone in the family. It's hard. It's hard moving with kids.
It is hard. And, a lot of people ask me what I do for a living, and I got tired of saying I'm a real estate agent. So I tell them I stress people out and I put them in debt. And that's kind of what we do on a consistent basis. And it's a unique, different twist and shift to see that, one, the kid contract, and two, getting just the simple act of getting down to the kids' level, having a conversation with them at eyeball to eyeball, so they're not tilting their head straight up and jamming their neck, but they feel included in the process. And I didn't know about the little writings all around the actual Disney world or whatever with a kid eye level. I'm going to go next time I'm there. I'll make a conscious effort to look at it, but it's those simple little tweaks. And I know that Gene was, when you guys had just come back from that, Gene had come on the show, and he was like a kid on Christmas. He was just bubbling over with excitement about it. And I was actually really excited to kind of get more in depth on this stuff. And I'd love to get into it a little bit with you guys. And Ryan, I want to talk to you a little bit about this. What was something that you pulled out of this event that really impacted you and that you've been putting into your business? And it can be big or it can be small. It doesn't really matter. But it's unique to see different perspectives, male, female, mom, dad, veteran agent, new agent, all these different things. But one tip equals one tip, so anything would work. So what was the one thing that really kind of took away?
I think just the whole concept of the Disney, you really see it. And the whole purpose is you can't just bring this back to your company and teach this, because people say, hey, what can you guys teach it to our company? Can you teach it to the other realtors? It's like, it's not about that. We don't teach it. It's taught by Disney Institute. So it's taught by them. And then Gene brought it all together for real estate, and Monica also. But you just have to be there, because every day you're going into the park and you're seeing it. You're seeing, every trash can has a cover on it, clean, because Walt Disney hated parks, hated, trash being around and stuff. Just like simple things like that is just attention to detail. People are guests. Our customers, our clients are guests. They're not our customers or our clients. It's so business-like. Just some of the wording. Your customers or your clients should feel a certain way. You want to make them feel the experience that you're going to have. Agent of excellence is, a great, it's such a great, word, or, trying to describe who are these agents of excellence? Why are they excellent? Well, if you're a premium agent and you're providing the customer service, your customers or clients or other people are going to want you to be their realtor, because you provide that excellent customer service. And it's about how you make them feel, not about, the transaction or the numbers or showing a house. It's like, how'd you make them feel in that house? How'd you make that house feel like a home? Just some of those things that to bring back, basically how can we make it better? How can we make our experience better? And one of the things was like touch points was a big thing. Like, you get green is good, yellow's caution, and red is like not so good. And the touch points along the whole entire transaction. And for me, I'm not part of the transactional process. I'm not part of all the paperwork and all that. Like the way we run our business and is me, I'm the first person that usually calls them or meets them or calls them about their house, or, hey, are you looking to make a move, or you looking to sell, or whatever it may be. So I'm usually the first person. So it just starts with a natural conversation, and it's not about like, hey, what price range you're looking at? I want to sell you a house. It's about, what are you guys doing? What does this make sense to you, financially? And it's just not salesy at all. It's not transactional, and it's all about relationships and building that. And it just made me feel more. We need to step our game, and we always have been, but it's just made me more, doing more Popeyes, and, we have a ton of client events that we do, and we already love on our clients a ton with our marketing and everything, but it just makes us step up our game, because it's all about how you make them feel. And for me as a nurse, it's been pretty easy just to bring that concept to to real estate. Instead of, I tell people all the time, instead of patience, you're taking care of your clients. So
interesting.
Yeah, I want to
just all of those kind of things. Just a customer service is such a broad term, but I think it's just, how are you making people feel, how, and not being salesy. And it's almost like not about money at all. It's just about, I could care less about the money. And for our business, I don't look at the numbers. I don't look at whatever. Yeah, we do a great production. I always remember the people by the house or, their last name. Sometimes I'll forget their first name or whatever, but I totally remember every experience about the house and, the smiles or the jokes that we shared. So.
Yeah, and listen, I want to stop you there for a second because I think there's a path we can go down with the whole touch points thing. And last night I went to this thing. There's a caterer around my area that does the name of the caterer is Luigi and Giovanni. Right? Yeah, you're giggling already, right? So last night they have this men's Italian night. Go figure, by Luigi and Giovanni. And I go with, it's like once a month, every third Thursday. And a bunch of guys that are fathers at my kid's school get together. And we were up there, and one of the guys that was there that I didn't really know real well, I was talking to him, and he says, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm in marketing." I'm like, "What do you do?" Well, he works in the front office for the Philadelphia Phillies baseball team. So I started asking him these questions, and I'm like, "So what do you do?" And he's like, "Well, listen, there's about 1,500 different touch points when you come out to the park." And I said, whoa, slow your roll for a second. And he goes, "What?" I said, "Why did you just say touch points?" He's like, "That's what we implement. We have touch points in our business." I'm like, "Have you been to the Disney Institute?" He's like, "Yeah, like 3 or 4 times. Why?" Oh my God. And I said, "Because you typically don't hear something like that in your everyday conversation, right?" Like, it was a term that they used, and I kind of want to go into it a little bit because I think from a real estate agent's perspective and the people that are listening to this, if they took away one semblance of what we learned from that aspect of the way Disney treats you, because Ryan, like you just said, it's about how you feel when you leave, right? And he was saying to me, he goes, customers is not always right, but they're always the customer. And he was saying, in a baseball year, there's 162 games. So if the Phillies are really good and they win 100 games, there's 62 times that the people that are at the stadium probably aren't happy. So they're looking for reasons for them to complain about the experience. So it's up to the people servicing them at the baseball stadium to make sure that when they leave, they can't say anything bad, even though the team lost. So in a real estate transaction, and Ryan, you were talking about like the green, the red, and the yellow, what they showed us was, and then Monica, I think I would love for you to dive in this a little deeper, but what they showed us was figure out an aspect of your business and draw the process out on paper. So Ryan makes the first call, and actually we pulled it all the way out from the web. So pretend like where does your lead come from? It's from your website. Does your website look the right way? Every single piece of your transaction, from gathering the lead to massaging the lead to closing, there's multiple touch points in there, right? And you have to figure out, I think for me the big takeaway was, how do we say where the touch points exist? And Monica, do you remember when we were doing the roundtable discussion and everybody was like, we started to talk about touch points for a specific process, and the process wasn't really big. It was a small process, but we got 3 minutes into it and realized, oh my God, there's going to be 450 touch points.
Yeah.
Right? And
it is a rabbit hole.
And big time. And the instructor said, good, that's what we wanted you to see, right? Because do you remember the story about the parking lot?
Yeah, totally.
Will you share that?
Yeah, so when you start going, so one exercise we did with Disney Institute was looking at the parking process and all the touch points there. And so then you start looking, well, okay, you're pulling into the lot, and what are all the touch points there? So like when you first drive in, like what does it look like? And when you encounter the parking guy that, collects your money and all of that. But every little step then funneled into like 10 more steps. So because you're looking at what does it look like, sound like, feel like, what do you hear? I mean, there's such a level of detail. I think the biggest thing that Ryan was kind of getting to also is you learn all this stuff. It's hard to come back and relay. Like, sure, we can relay specific tools, but it's such a mindset shift. Like we do well in our business. We're very hands-on and we love on our clients a lot, but holy crap, you go and you're like, wow, there is so much more I could be doing. Like I'm just skimming the surface.
What would be,
And
what would one be? What would be one thing you would do more, or are you going to be doing more? It's a good question. That you're like, oh shit, I could do blank more often. What's just one thing that pops in your head first thing?
I think it's just awareness. I'm more on the transactional side. Ryan's more on cultivating and lead generation side. But for my part of the business, it's more consistent engagement. So like for the touch point map, that I applied that to like our buyer under contract process and our seller under contract process, which has so many levels. But I realized I wasn't consistently engaging with the clients through the whole time period. It was really just when I needed something. So for like buyers, once the inspection's done, you kind of lay low for a while. And for here, it's even a couple of weeks while you're maybe waiting for the appraisal back or whatever. But they weren't really hearing from me enough. And I don't need anything from them. They don't need anything from me. They're working on their loan stuff. But you lose all that warm and fuzzy and that engagement and momentum kind of in the relationship. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it's closing and you kind of show up and you're like, oh, how's it been for 2 weeks? Like you're all hot and heavy during the house hunting process. And then like, where'd you go?
So you again. You're still here. Oh, hi. You're Monica, right? Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, well, I've been here behind the scenes kind of monitoring. But they don't know that. And they don't know what we do. And so that was a big aha for me, and something I've been a lot more consistent with is, and just aware of, like that mindset shift of checking in with them, whether I send them, you told me a long time ago about Bonjoro, Greg.
Yeah.
I love it. It's way cheaper than BombBomb.
Way cheaper. It's easy. You can do it right off of your phone. Just hit and go. It's awesome.
Yeah. And you can just send a quick little video email. So if you only have a minute and you're like, oh, these guys are talkers, I don't have 20 minutes. The question is like, do I not call because I don't have time, or do I call and then be rude and cut them off? So Bonjoro is super cool because you can just send them a video email, but even just a quick text, a message on Facebook, whatever, just to say, hey, I don't need anything from you, but I want to check in. Is there anything you need help with?
Right.
I mean, I do that a lot, kind of through several times throughout the process, and it really is sincere. I really am just checking in with them. If there's something they need help with, I'd love to know so I can help out. I'm not going to pack boxes, but I can.
Well, I think it's funny how that all correlates in any kind of customer service. It's the old "what have you done for me lately" theory, right? Like you could be killing it, and I also combine that with a theory that I call the Dana theory, and Dana's my wife. And that what that is that if she doesn't see it happen, well, then it must not have occurred. So like when she's at work for 12 hours, she thinks I'm sitting around drinking margaritas. Like it's not like, you know what I mean? You know, like.
Are you?
Some days, yeah. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you very much. But like in the touch point and transaction process, like you were talking about, you could really be working hard behind the scenes. And we talked a little bit about this when we were down there. But if there is a 3-week delay because there's really nothing you need and you're just waiting to close, they're like, she was really hot and heavy on the trail when they wanted the commission, and now I don't hear from her. And just by doing that Bonjour or one-time video or once a week, just like, hey, like something stupid, right? You're scheduled to go to closing on next Thursday. Please don't buy any new furniture on a credit card until then. Okay, we'll see you then. It's you being in their face in that interim, that time period is like, oh, that Monica, she's funny. That's great. I'm excited about our closing in 2 weeks. You didn't do anything, but because you hit that touch point, you didn't go away either, which is a big deal.
Yeah. And you can systematize a lot of that. I really don't. I mean, even like our busiest months, like 10 to 12 closings a month, that's a lot of, hey, how's it going? Do you need help with anything? And that's a lot of behind the scenes running, like the duck on the water, but the feet are going really fast. It's a lot of that. I know that I don't know, maybe we should systematize it a little bit more where they automatically get an email that says something, but I'm always afraid of it not being sincere or personal, because if I happen to talk to them the day before because they called and are like, oh, hey, can you, I don't know, we need boxes or whatever. And then some kind of generic email goes out the next day that says, like, oh, if you need, hope you're doing great. They're like, okay, that was set up and staged. So I'm always kind of a little reluctant to make that too automated. But I try to keep it sincere and kind of on the fly. I can manage it.
And I think you definitely make a good point, because there's something to be said about, like, if you send me 50 canned emails, the first 3 I'm going to be like, cool. The 4th I'm going to be like, all right, this is like, there's no personal touch here, right? So it's just the next 36 or 46 I'm just going to kind of ignore. But if you do a couple of those automated and then you throw in the written card and the phone call and the personal video text and the invite to your movie theater because you're doing the screening of The Lion King with your clients, like, there's a lot of that you can spread out over a 3-month period that keeps it personal, and that, well, I think in the marketing business will allow people to more likely take your flyer that you mailed them, what they normally would throw out, but then give it a second look and say, these guys are awesome. Like, because I just went to The Lion King 2 weeks and they gave us popcorn and we watched the movie, and now they're sending me this. I'm going to stick this up on my calendar as opposed to throwing it away, right? You feel guilty almost. So automation's important, but if it's the only thing you're doing, I think you're losing a little bit.
Yeah, and we do automate that. So, like, post-closing follow-up marketing, that is pretty automated. But the transactional stuff is spontaneous. Like, that's just kind of as needed.
Yeah. So with the people that attended, I know that there was a wide range, and it wasn't just for the brand new agents or the veteran agents. You had everything in there. You had a top producer, and you had some people that were kind of just getting into the business. And I think they all, including, I know Gene did, and I know Ryan and Monica, you guys did too probably, but you guys probably walked out of there with an aha takeaway. And do you think it was the same for everybody, or do you think that there was a common theme for everyone, or do you think everybody got their own little touch point? Well, now you guys got me saying touch points. Everyone has their
keep it clean.
You got to send Disney a check for $1 every time you say touch point.
I'm screwed. But something Gene, I want to let's dive in a little bit. Kind of, what was your takeaways, and let's really kind of get a conversation going here for the next probably 15-20 minutes in regards to what you walked away and what you put into your business as well. So, because the folks that are listening, I want to make sure that they're like, yeah, this is all great, but what the fuck, guys? I mean, give me something I can put in my business right now, right? What's something that I mean, getting down to one knee, that's a good thing. Get down to the kid level. Gene shaves and bathes daily now, so that's the second thing.
Semi.
Sponge baths. We're working up to the real bath.
Got it. Okay.
What did you pull out of it?
Oh man, I had a lot. I got I'm trying to think here where I wrote this stuff down, because I had a brain dump on the plane on the way home, and like there was a couple really things that really hit me in the face. And the first thing that really hit me in the face was they talked about stuff that they do in their business. Disney did every day, and it's a lot of things that are subconscious. So like, while you don't know it's happening, you sort of feel it, right? So like Ryan said it, the trash can lids was a big deal. So they said, when you go to Disney, one of the things you never really notice is trash on the ground. They're very good at picking stuff up. So he asked us a couple questions. How do you think they did that? Well, they created these trash cans and spent extra money on these trash cans to have them covered. And then they did research that told them that humans will pace up to about 30 steps before they litter. And so what they did was they put trash cans 24 paces apart from each other. So here's the thing. And here's the other one that really blew my mind, and I'm trying to integrate this into my home life because I'm always in trouble for this. But we go into the park, and they have these strips of lights, right? And he goes, just think about Magic Kingdom. How many lights do you think there are there? Like, there's got to be millions of lights, right? I forget what the number was, but I feel like he said 88,000 or something. I don't know. But he goes, have you ever noticed that nobody's ever changing lights? And everybody was like, yeah, when you're here, you don't really ever see it. He goes, so think about what it takes to change a light bulb. A light bulb goes out, and light bulbs they're always on in Disney World, right? There's a couple times where some will go, they'll have one that's defunct or been bad, and it'll go bad. But for the most part, they're always on. And he said, think about what it takes. You got to go get one of those ladders, that moves 2 miles an hour. The what do you call those things? The rig, the automatic thing that goes up. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So a light goes out. You got to get a guy in. The guy goes out, and it's in the way. It's a big orange thing in the way. So what he said, what they do is they put a bunch of lights on a strip. They know how long those lights on the strip are supposed to last. They do a math calculation for about 85%, and they just proactively replace all the lights at 85% of their lifespan after hours. So think about that. So there's never lights out. The guests don't see the lights being changed. And you're probably saving millions of dollars a year because somebody doesn't have to go out 57 times on some device, right? But my big takeaway from all those things was this. I kept going like this. Jesus, it's like these changes that they make, there hasn't been anything that they've said through that course where I'm like, I can't do that in my business. It was such simple little touches that anybody can do it across any business at any time. Like I thought when I got there it was going to be, well, of course, Disney has $80 billion a year, right? So, of course, they can do X, Y, and Z. There wasn't anything in there that they did where I was like I could do that in my own home. I could figure out the lifespan of my bulbs and proactively replace my living room light bulbs at 85%, right?
Yeah.
So It was the simplicity of the actions that they took for me was mind-blowing because and the other thing he always said, too, which was great, he said to us, tell me who our competition is. Remember that statement? And people were like mulling around, and people were like, "Great Adventure," and he's like, "Get out of here," and the people are naming these little parks, and he's like, "No," and he goes, "We don't have any competition because we can't afford to have any competition," and that blew me away a little bit too. So they do everything they can to stay so far above and beyond everything else that Disney becomes a verb. It's not a place anymore. It's a way of life for a lot of people, and that happens because of how far they set themselves apart.
Well, it also goes down. I read a Disney book years ago. I forget the name of it, but it was basically talking about what you guys are talking about right now. With the CEO at the time, and I actually got to hear him speak at a real estate conference a number of years ago down in L.A., and it was very interesting because he told a story about when he was at the park, right? And he saw a little kid, and he also saw a piece of trash. And so what did he do? He went right over, grabbed the trash, put it in the garbage. The little kid comes up and goes, "Hey, mister, what's your job here?" And obviously he was suited up and everything. He's like, "I'm the janitor." And then when his people came back, they was walking with it. They're like, "Dude, you're the freaking CEO. Like, what are you telling them that you're the janitor?" He's like, "I don't know how many people, like 10,000 people work or 100,000 people work for Disney." He's like, "Because we have 100,000 janitors. We all do every job." And I think in a lot of times in real estate, we get all high and mighty and hoity-toity and all blue blood and shit when we do a couple of deals here and there. We forget that all have to do every job. We've got to be able to do every job, like a Navy SEAL team. Everyone can do exactly the same thing everyone else can do, but you're specialized in certain verticals, like Monica and Ryan. You guys could each independently go out and do real estate on your own, but you're better together. But you have to remember, if one is lacking or slacking at some other point, you can do that job. You work as one unit. And I've seen a lot of agents that get really uppity about how much production they have, and they lose touch with the average person. I was telling a story the other day about the fact that this is like 15 years ago, but this agent up in Washington, very big producer, great guy, know him well. He rolled up to like a smaller listing. I think it was like $100,000 or $200,000 listing appointment, right, for his marketplace. And he rolled up in his brand new S550 tricked out. And the owner just comes out on the porch, goes, no, bro, no. It obviously appears you're doing just fine. You don't need my listing. I'm going to hire someone that's more like me. And he went down to and got himself a Chevy Suburban at that point and never looked back. But, I mean, it sounds like this stuff is helping people become human and to get back to that emotional level of what it's like to buy and sell. Because that shit is fucking stressful. Like, it freaks people out, and we forget about it. We do it every day. It's just another number. It's another house. It's another deal, right?
And it's hard to do that like consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, I was just looking at our little, like our workbook that we got during the conference. One thing they talked about, Gene and Ryan, you'll remember this, is when you have the goal in mind, or when you have the processes in place, so like you want to consistently provide exceptional service, and the results will happen just because you're paying attention to the details. So just worry about the details and the results will happen. So Disney worries about, all the details to provide a consistent guest experience, knowing the guests are going to come. Like they just need to do what they're supposed to do. For us, like we know what we need to do. We have to make the calls. We have to stay in front of them. We have to stay top of mind. We have to give a shit and care and show up. And we know that the business and referrals come as a result.
You know, the funny thing is that for the 47 years my dad's been in the real estate, for 47 years he has dropped off these boxes of candy at Christmas, the $7 box of candy. I think he just likes to eat half the boxes of candy. That's why he orders the C's. But people, when he shows up with a box of C's candy and drops it off to him personally and has a conversation with them, that emotional connection that he makes with those folks is more powerful than 1,000 gift cards. And the reason why is because he shows up, gives them something that they like, and they remember, and they look and wait for him to show up during the holiday season. And we will get phone calls. Hi, did we not make it on the list this year? What do you mean? Oh, we haven't seen Terry with the candies yet. Oh, no, you're on the list. He's going to be doing. Terry, get your ass over there. But it's that connection. And it's truly an important thing for folks to really get down. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, shit, man, I got to do a better job of this.
And it's really not just throwing money at clients.
No.
Like Disney's the same way. They're a business, and they're there to make money. Like they don't make bones about it. Just like we are. I mean, we're not a nonprofit. We're here to make a living. But we want to do really, be really good at it. And it's so much more meaningful if you actually care and do a good job and your clients appreciate it. Like it makes it a lot more rewarding. And that's a lot more on Ryan's realm, like with routinely going by and visiting and doing pop-bys and calling and checking in. So he gets the rewards of that personally from having that connection with our clients.
Ryan, talk to me a little bit about that. Talk to me a little bit about the connection when you're meeting with folks. And I know Monica doesn't see this all the time, but you do. And, when you sit there and you're like, I took an extra couple of minutes to talk with this person or an extra 30 minutes to hear someone talk about whatever. How does that affect you? Does it make you want to keep wanting to show up every time, or you're like, forget about it. That's just Bob and Sarah. They'll come back to us next time they need it. I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
I think just that's kind of like when everyone says, "Oh, what's your why? Like, what are you doing? Why do you do this business?" And oh my gosh, you were a nurse and healthcare and all that, and like you're in real estate, like you're a realtor. What the hell are you doing? So for me, that's my why. Is that like I do like to show people. I like the interactive part. I like door knocking. It's like some people think of it as like, oh, you're knocking on doors, you're ringing doorbells. It's like, no, I'm talking to people. I'm having interactions and, I'm making people laugh and it just comes natural to me. For some people, it's just not for them. They're afraid to go to the door. Or they don't know what to say or whatever. Like if I'm walking to the door, I see something funny in the yard, I'll bring it up. It's just a natural thing for me. I guess that's normal, to make it fun, but that's my why, is making people laugh, having fun. Like this business should be fun. It's not about like, hey, you guys looking to sell this house down the street? We just sold for, $200,000. You guys should think of selling. Or are you making a move? And a lot of it for me is always thinking of my wording for people. Like, in every call, it's an opportunity. It's not a sale. It's like, hey, they might sell now. They might sell in 5 years. I don't care because I'm not that way. It's not about whether it's a $50,000 house or a $5 million house. It doesn't matter. We don't treat them any different. They don't get anything else from us, anything different. They're invited to everything we do. But I don't know, to answer your question, it's just my why is that interaction, that personal touch that we can provide and make better, and make it fun, make them feel special. And you can see it. You can see it in how they are, and they, that's what makes me feel good to do this job. I think that's why I do it. Otherwise, I would never do it if it was just a business. If I was just transactional, or if I was on Monica's side, transactional side, I wouldn't like it. So that's why I think we make a good team. She doesn't want to do what I do. She doesn't want to call. When I used to, and I don't do it as much, expireds, but it was fine to me. Just like you, Greg, like you do that. And I love watching your show and listening to your show, Real Estate Uncensored, and this program is fantastic. you got to find things that motivate you and see how other people do it and bring it to your own way of doing it. But going back to that, Monica would never knock on doors, and I wouldn't want her to. And, you know, she would tell you I'd be terrible at it. Or like I brought people from work. They're like, Ryan, you're going out today. I want to go with you. It's like, all right, come along. And they're afraid to go to the door. I'm like, I'm not just, and they'll hand them like, hey, we sold this house down the street. And they hand them the thing or whatever I have, the paperwork. I'm like, I got to go. Like, dude, what did you just do? You didn't, whatever. For me, I love that connection, whether it's good or bad. I never get the hell off my porch. What are you doing here? It's like so minimal just because I guess who you are coming, you know, interacting with people. Like you always say, you know, it's not a three-headed monster you're going to. It's a person. Who cares? Yeah. You're talking to them on the phone. You know, you're being friends with them.
Yeah,
you know, and let me say, oh, sorry, Greg. With the door knocking.
Door knocking.
It's funny because like Ryan has taken, other agents have said, like, how do you do that? And he gets great results. But I know there was one agent he went with, and like 45 minutes later, they divided up the sides of the street. And so like Ryan started one, the other agent started the other. The other agent got all the way down to the end of the street, and he looked back, and Ryan's at the second house still. And he's like, what the hell? And Ryan's like, well, you know, you get to talk to him. Like, people invite him in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't have the patience really to do that because I'm like, okay, let's get going. But it's insane. I'll call, like, when he would go in the summertime when he does a lot more, I'd call him at like 8:30 at night, and I'm like, where the hell are you? Get home. And he's like, oh, I got to talking to them, and they're so nice, and they had these cute dogs and all this stuff. Like, he just cares. And like you said, babe, it's just, you're talking to people, and it's stressful. Like, to, you know, it's a transaction kind of to us, you know, we know what to do and all that, but gosh, when you're a seller or, you know, thinking about making a move, like, it's really hard, and you don't know who to trust. And then this guy comes knocking on your door, and he's been told before, because he wears a sport coat and he's got like his little book to take notes. People think he's a cop or a detective.
I can see that.
See that? He looks like, I can see that too. He looks like it.
Totally.
Well, yeah. I think nowadays too, like you guys have said too, it's like it's so there's so much just junk out there. There's so much noise and distractions and internet and phones and all this stuff. It's like, oh, you're a real person at my door telling me good information. You're not salesy. You're a good guy, and hey, awesome. I like you. You know,
that's the distinguishing difference. There is that I actually took a buddy he's become a good friend of mine. He's actually my insurance agent, a guy named Sean Smith up in the Sacramento area. He found me doing door knocking videos. He's like, hey man, can I go door knocking with you? And I'm like, fuck it, sure, man. I don't know you, but whatever. And I'm 6'5", 230 and change. He's like 6'4", like just built like I am. Like, damn, we're like two like Goliaths walking down the street. And the funny thing is that I didn't really know Sean, and he'd never been door knocking, so I was bringing value to him that way. But then he's a trained fighter, so he squared up at the door like he's about ready to kick some ass. I'm like, Sean, what are you doing? He's like, just ready to meet them. And I'm like, we're not here to kill them. We're here to sell them.
I'm here to fool.
Okay? And he's like, oh, yeah. And but here's the thing that's a funny story about Sean. He's got the biggest freaking heart though, which is a great dude. But the thing is that he's an insurance agent, and so what we were able to do to bring value, and this is a tip for you guys to do this: take an insurance broker out door knocking with you, because if they're not going to be buying or selling with you, you can Sean actually got 3 clients, and the last time I checked, he still has them, and he saved one lady like $1,900, $2,000 a year, and she didn't have a job. So he saved that person a lot of money right there, and I bet you anything they remembered him. So that's another way to bring some value, you know, in some tips and tricks.
I know we're gonna get ready to wrap this up real quick.
Yeah, we can wrap.
I want to do this real quick. So Susan Sistak, who's a member of the Agent of Excellence, right? She was on here, and she asked me why I don't have my graduation cap, Monica, over your right shoulder, right? You see that? Right? So here, I'm going to do this for the video viewers, right? We have pictures of this. Here it is.
That is going to be our thumbnail for the show.
It should awesome. Be. Here, look, do it like this. So if you're not watching, if you're not watching, you're just listening. I put on my Disney hat. Go to the YouTube channel so you can see what it looks like.
It's your official Disney graduation mouse ears.
First group, I'll take it. I thought it was great. But real quick before we get running, I know that you wanted to. Greg will ask you where to find things, but you have a lot of pretty cool little tools out there for people. Are you willing to give any of that stuff away?
Me?
Yes.
Like we're happy to help. So a lot of our content is for members only, but like if anyone wants to like message me or message Agent of Excellence, or you can like be on our newsletter, that's totally free. Mention Real Estate Uncensored. We can send you, like we just put a toolkit out for little, and they're pretty cute, little get well soon bags that you can have ready. They don't go bad, but they cost like $3.50 each. They're super cheap with like a soup and crackers and vitamins and stuff. So we can send that out. The kid contract, we can share that too. Just,
nice.
Get in touch with me and I'm happy to send that out to anyone who's watching.
So while we're there,
normally available to members.
Okay, Greg, sorry.
I was just saying, how do they get a hold of you? Facebook Messenger? Do you want them to email you, call you? And also for referrals, guys, both Monica and Ryan, guys, give out your information. People reach out to you for referrals in the springs and or just to sign up for Agent of Excellence and for the next class to be a part of this and be a part of this movement that you guys have created, which I think is just fantastic. So, guys, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, Agent of Excellence on Facebook is the best way, and lots of information on there. The next conference at Disney World is in February, and it's a 3.5-day, like, full event at the Grand Floridian. So there's lots of information on the Facebook page. You can also go to theagentofexcellence.com, and you can just send your information to be on the interest list. We send out a newsletter monthly with some good tips from Disney and best practices, that sort of thing. We're really a Disney fan group for realtors, so lots of Disney inspiration.
All right.
Warm and fuzzy stuff. But yeah, either of those ways, and I'm happy to share stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic. Ryan, for you, my friend.
Yes. We're kind of together on that, so I would just say, yeah.
So reach out to Monica.
Yeah.
Don't talk to Ryan. Talk to Monica. Gotcha. Gene, how can people get a hold of you?
You can reach out to me. You can go to Facebook and check out Gene Volpe Media for my business page, or you can hit me on genevolpe.com. If you watch this Friday, as you know, I have a little widget that pops up that will get you right in touch with me. So hit me up there.
And when you go to genevolpe.com.
Thank you so much.
Even though I can't sing or shit, I still like to
that
try
sounds great
Friday.
to my ears, man. It was beautiful.
Because you're demented. That's true. That's why we love you. You guys, I appreciate you guys watching the show. If you guys did like this, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you guys are listening to iTunes or Stitcher, give us a 5-star review. Mention Ryan or Monica in your review notes if you like the episode. And I just appreciate you guys all listening and sharing this out to all of your people. Gene, I need a color.
Let's go tassel yellow.
Tassel yellow is the bow color for the show. Guys, thank you for watching. I love you to pieces. Matt's not here. Gene loves you to pieces. And Ryan and Monica just made it mother effing rain up in here with some knowledge and tidbits. So thank you guys. Much love to you and to all of you guys out in Facebook land. Peace out, my ninjas. We're gone.